If you've ever considered deepening your studies into yoga and embodiment, then I have a couple new trainings for you. Click the link in the details below to learn more. Welcome to your practice. Mark Nepo says that what we reach for may be different, but what makes us reach is all the same. I think that's, very apt and beautiful. What we reach for may be different, but what makes us reach is all the same. And there's this sense of longing, often this sense of separation, this wanting to find a completeness, a wholeness, a belonging, which is prevalent in all the ages and all the places. I'm always reminded of that when I read and, inquire into mythologies and to philosophies and different cultures around the world. That it's this part of the human experience. And I explore this a lot in recovery work as well. And as many of you know, I come from a big addiction background. And I see it so much different than, only the substance that we do or the alcohol or the drugs or things like this. It's a human experience that we all have in some way. And then what do you do when you're in discomfort? That has a quality of seeking to change the way that we feel so that we feel we want to come into completeness. And often those things in which we grab for, they just don't do the trick, or they do it and they don't do it very long. And then there we are again, reaching. So how do we address maybe that deeper ask? The deeper want. And I am of the belief that it is a sense of a belonging. In Oregon, soon, in October, we're going to be doing a gathering called Hearth. And hearth is the center. Hearth is, the fire that is tended by the village. And I think that the village is the sense of belonging that we're after. That to come together and to be part of, and turn towards something that isn't just self, but to come together and turn towards something as community. So we'll be exploring asana and movement and connection, ceremony and ritual. It'll be a beautiful time together. But today in this practice, I'd like us to just explore tending to our center. And this is what I think we do in this practice. And the hope is that this is not only something that we do right here on our mat, but that we turn and tend towards our inner hearth, our center, so that we can bring it to the village and bring it to our families and our friends and our communities. Blah, 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 blah. All sees that right there. And we can feel this rather than think it, which I think is so important. I feel is so important. So bring your hands to hearth center, maybe in Hakini Mudra. Bring the fingertips to touch and leave space in the center. Yeah. Thumbs at the heart, at the hearth, and kiss the heart back into the thumbs. Push down through the sit bones, reach through the crown of the head. Big inhale. And big sigh out. Ha. Again, big inhale. Big sigh out. Whew. Once more, inhale. Ha. Reach the arms up. And exhale, bring them down wide, cactus arms. Make a little offering. Pushpaputa Mudra. Full exhale. And then inhale, come back up, Hakini Mudra. Exhale, release it down, and inhale, lift. All the way up. Exhale, cactus the arm. make a little offering, Pushpa Mudra. Inhale, Hakini. Back at the heart. And exhale, wave it down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, open up wide. Pushpa. Maybe the head pours down towards the offering. Inhale, Hakini, hands, heart, center. Once more like this. Exhale, wave it down and up. Open up, cactus the arms, and then make a little offering. And then bring it to the heart. Full round of breath, stay right here. Beautiful. Exhale, dip it low. Wave it up. And this time, cactus the arms. Let the heart come through, make it wide, and bring the hands behind you. We'll take altar pose. So the hands will come down, the legs go in front, push into the hands and the legs at the same time so that you can lift the hips up. Yeah. The head can stay lifted unless you know your neck very, very well, and maybe rock side to side a bit, back and forth. And then bring the hips back down. If you're on a block or something, you can move it. Can move it up to the front, possibly. And let's come into a tabletop position and find a wiggle here. And color outside the lines. See what's here. Let the breath swirl around in your body in the same way that the spine is swirling around in there as well. And the yogis really think about the body as a vessel. Bhati, bottle. And we have this vessel that we get to explore with. And the two things about a vessel that are so important is that it has structural integrity. It needs to have sides, it needs to be firm, it needs to hold. But it also needs to be open. You have to be able to pour the ingredients into the pot. And then the pot needs to be firm enough in order to cook the soup. So we need to be able to steep into this vessel. So open and boundaried. Tuck the toes. Push into the hands. The hips go up and back. So in our practice, we can find these places in which we have structure and architecture, and then also a place in which there's flow and there is space. Gaze towards the top of the mat, and we'll slowly walk forward like you're doing a little walking meditation to the top of the mat. And I think this practice is tending to the vessel. It's tending to the open parts of the vessel. It's tending to the structure of the vessel so that we can have a good pot in order to carry these experiences, to hold our experiences of life, and then also know when we can let them go. Maybe shake into the knees, let the arms be heavy and wag the head, and maybe we can let something go right here. Ha! Flutter the lips. Make some space. And then with that same vibration, begin to push into the feet so you can roll up to stand. Eventually the shoulders will roll back. And let's take a moment, widen the stance. Widen the stance and begin to sway. The arms can find a bit more space here as well. Maybe the heels begin to drop. You can shake at the hands. And free form anything that feels good. Letting something go, being porous here. And then rather than just stopping, we're going to dial this down. So it's not a switch, not a light switch, but dialing it down like a dimmer switch, and slowly We'll come to a still point, still-ish point at the top of the mat, and then feel what you feel. Let's find some structure in this vessel. Press down through the feet, and maybe you can find 3 points of rooting here, from the ball of the big toe and the ball of the pinky toe and the heel. And press down in these places, and you can allow a lift in the center. So you can think about and feel about pressing down on an exhale, grow roots. And then on an inhale, lift through center. So on an exhale, find structure. And then on this inhale, find space. Once more, exhale. And inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, pour forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. And you can let this be soft here, full round of breath. But can you still find structure in the hands? So the same way that we just did the feet, can you do that in the hands? Find foundation and then also find space. Inhale, lift the heels, round the upper back and be led forward by the upper back. And then bring the knees down gently. Gaze comes forward, belly softens, hip goes to the heels. Yeah. When the hips get there, they're going to reach down, sit bones reach down, and you round the back again. Chin to the chest, roll forward. Push into the hands, downward facing dog. We'll do this again. Lift the heels, wave forward, rounded high plank. Bring the knees down, drip them down slowly. Hips go to the heels. Gaze goes forward, heart opens as you do, and then round into a cat pose as you come forward. Press into the hands, the knees lift, the hips go up and back, downward facing dog. Yeah, all right. Inhale, the right leg lifts, lift up and back. Really push through the hands, maybe even a little bit more through the right hand. And gaze forward, we take a big step forward. Yeah, push down through the front foot. Push down through the front foot and we'll let the arms hang. So kind of shake them out. This fascial roll up. So there's a little bit of a shake and press through the front foot. You'll slowly roll up. The arms can lift. Yeah, and then find a pulse through the body. That pulse is already there. Just giving it a bit of an expression. Bend both knees, pull back on the right hip crease and slowly open to the right. Yeah, open to the right. And you can let the arms drop and spiral to the front. And then lift up. You can start with the shoulders, lift up and the arms inflate up. Inflate up as you spiral to the right. Open the arms. And they'll come all the way down as you turn forward. And continue this pathway. You can begin with the shoulders and it's this kind of upward melt. And you turn. Twice more like this. Just got this from Miss Persia Juliet, if you all know her. She's got a few classes on here. Epic teacher. I went to her class here in Bali the other day and we were doing these spirals here. So one more. Open, twist, and release. All right, this time open, lift the arms up and let's plant the back heel down, warrior two. And we're going to continue to find some structure and some space here. So first find the foundation of the feet. Find those 3 points on both feet. Pressing down and then also lifting through the center. And let's move with breath. Exhale, the hands can come down, bend into the front leg and then pull up through center. Lift the arms as you lengthen the front leg. And then exhale, hands go wide down towards center. And then lift, lift, lift. And you'll find your own way. This is just a way. finding flow, but still feeling firm structure, stability through the feet. All right. Next time you come up, 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 flex the front foot, come onto the heel, and pivot it over to the right. Hands go to the hips. Kind of guide the tailbone down just slightly. I like to bring it down either with the palms or with the thumbs and lean back into yourself a little bit. Soft bend at the knees, hinge at the hips as you pour forward. Wide leg forward fold. The toes are slightly in and the heels slightly out. Just let yourself pour out here. Yeah. Slightly bend in both knees, one at a time. And then inhale, halfway lift, turn towards the top of the mat. The left hand goes really wide. Peel open, and the gaze can follow the hand. Peel open, soften both elbows. Let the back of the heart scoop up the front of the heart like it's just going to support it up, like a little altar for the heart. The back knee can come down and lean back even more. Lean back even more. Let the hips melt, 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 and then lizard pose. Just a couple rounds of breath here. You're also welcome to slither to the right and kind of take all 10 toes to the right. Your choice. Just a few rounds of breath here. And then turn towards the top of the mat. The hands plant. Left leg comes up and take some big hip circles with the left leg. Forward fold. Bend the knees. Push through the feet as you rise up. Inhale, arms lift. And exhale, fold it back down. Step back, downward facing dog. All right, full round of breath. Find the roots, find the connection in the hands, and also find the space. Whew. Lift the heels, chin to chest, round forward. The knees kiss down, and when they get there, the hips go back to the heels. And then round forward. Firmly push through the hands, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. The right foot plants and the left leg lifts. Lift up, 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 up. And then a big step through in between the hands. Both knees bend deeply. The feet are on train tracks and you'll roll up slow. Let the head and the arms hang heavy. And just feel what you feel along the way. And the shoulders can kind of shrug when you arrive and lift the arms up. A little bit of pulse in the hips, and we'll take a twist to the left. Yeah. The more you bend the knees and pull back on the left hip crease, you'll have more space here. Arms can drop down, turn forwards. Lift and open. You know the path. You can add anything in. Twice more. Making the body pliable here, using the breath and movement to let the body be pliable. Open up, warrior two. Find foundation, find structure, and we move with breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink down into warrior two, and you'll find your own path here, own thing with the arms. Once more. Next time you come up, lengthen the front leg, flex the front foot, and pivot the toes in. We'll do a little different this time, goddess pose. So toes, both toes out, both heels in, bend the knees. And then your choice where you'd like to land and explore. But see if you can find structure. See if you can find some integrity in the architecture of your body, and then also find the space, also find the opening. All right, and we turn towards the top of the mat. Bring the left foot to the left and the right hand really wide. And then we'll peel open, a low lunge twist, but really wide and gooey, open up, and back knee kind of comes down. Let the back of the heart scoop up the front of the heart, make an altar. And then exhale, pour down into a lizard pose, or you can bring all 10 toes over towards the left, your choice. 3 rounds of breath here. And, thinking about the vessel concepts, too much of either can cause a problem, too much boundary, and nothing comes in. Yeah, our experiences, our love towards us, nothing can come in or go out if we have too much boundary. Begin to gaze forward, and we'll take a big step up. Make big hip circles with the right leg. And then you'll pour forward. Ragdoll. Maybe take the hands behind the back or interlace them behind the head, your choice. So too much boundary, nothing comes in, nothing comes out. There's rigidity. But too much openness, too much porousness, and then we can't contain anything. All of our experiences, all of the things that are precious to us just come and go. A good vessel allows us to receive. It allows us to hold and to steep, and then it also allows us to let go and to share, to offer. Once more, we'll roll up, find the structure in the feet. As there's softness in the body as you roll all the way up. Arms lift and the knees soften and pour all the way down. Plant the hands, downward facing dog. One last time, this little flow here. Inhale, round forward. The knees soften down and the hips go to the heels. Chin to the chest, round and wave. And downward facing dog. Full in. And sound it out. All right. Slowly the knees come down and take a seat. Take a seat, however you'd like to get there, and maybe you have a wiggle or a wag. You just want to close with a little bit of breath. Kumbhaka. Kumbhaka, vessel. Vessel means vessel. Pot. And it's when we hold. And so we're going to hold the breath at the top, and then we'll hold the breath at the bottom. Let's actually pause. Let's use that language. We'll pause at the top, we'll pause at the bottom. And we'll just do a couple rounds of this. Just a couple rounds of this. So we're going to fill up. Imagine your body is a pot. It's a vessel. We're going to fill up, and we'll just hold for pause for a 3 count. And then we'll release it all the way out. And we'll pause at the bottom. And I'll do a longer class of this. This is a really beautiful breath. But we'll just try it a couple times as we close here. So let's take 2 full rounds of breath with no pausing. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. All right, inhale. And then pause at the top for a count of 3 if this feels okay. And then exhale, release it out. And can you pause at the bottom for 3, 2, 1. And then a full inhale, no pause. And a full exhale, no pause. Again, in. Hold, pause for 3, 2, 1, and release. And pause at empty for 3, 2, 1. Full cycle, no pause. Inhale. And out. Once more, in. Pause, 3, 2, 1, and out. Pause, 3, 2, 1, and in. And then coming back to your natural breath. No pauses, no keeping track of fulls and empties. But this is a curious breath to explore because often there will be more friction once we fill up and pause versus when we release and pause. And there's just an interesting curiosity around that. I'd love to hear what that felt like. And of course, if any anxiety ever comes up around this or it doesn't feel okay in the body, doesn't feel curious in the body, then there's no need to practice as well. But it's a sweet practice, a sweet breath to practice. Vessel breath. Kumbhaka. Yeah. Ha! Let's bring the hands together at heart center. Thumbs to the heart, heart back to the thumbs. It's a reminder to, come back to center. Maybe taking with you this wonder about being a good vessel. These finding ways and how smoothly that we are open to receive, how long and how well we kind of slow cook our experiences, our emotions, how much we allow them to steep. And then are we able and willing to pour out and to offer up when that sweet, delicious soup is cooked. Yeah, thank you for your breath, your practice, and your trust. Thumbs to the third eye. Let's all pour forward in thanks and gratitude for that in which you have thanks and gratitude for. Suksama. Thank you. Thank you. If you're interested in this idea, this concept a bit, check out the Cauldron episode of the Emerald podcast. I'll put it in the link below. Incredible, incredible podcast. And if you're interested in coming on retreat in Oregon to Hearth, Rituals of Return, it will be a delicious gathering. We are having song circles, tea ceremonies, earth altars, gooey asana, of course, somatic breathwork. It's going to be quite something. And we will all be gathering in circle, which is a community vessel, and tending center, tending our communal hearth. It'll be quite beautiful. We'd love to see you there. We're about half full right now, so let me know if you have any inquiries or questions. And I'll see you next time on your mat. Thanks for practicing with me. If you'd like to explore with one of my longer classes from my online membership, then click the link below and I'll send you one right over. We'll have a little bit more space to move and breathe together.